Next question. The measure of dispersion used to compare variation between two different variables is. So in last lecture we have this demonstration. Four options are given: mean deviation, standard deviation, variance and coefficient of variation. So this question is about measures of dispersion. You know 5 measures of dispersion which are used and peculiarity of each measure of dispersion. Now this question is talking about comparison of dispersion. So if you remember height and weight ka example which is demonstrated in previous lecture, where I wanted to compare variation between height and weight. Now both are taken on two different units. So how to compare their variation? I'll depict this answer with example. So suppose I am appointed as a medical officer and I am doing health checkup of 100 school children. Now as a part of health checkup I am taking their height and I am taking their weight. Now 100 children, so 100 readings of height and 100 readings of weight I will be getting. Now from these 100 readings I am giving you summary. For this 100 children, suppose mean height is 150 centimeters. Standard deviation in height is 5 centimeters. In weight, mean weight is 60 kg. Standard deviation in weight is 6 kg. So now you all will agree with me, there is variation in height and also there is variation in weight. Means what? When I am saying mean height is 150, means most of the students have height of 150. But that doesn't mean everybody is having height of 150. Some students going below, some students going above. That is known as variation, which is measured here by standard deviation. So there is variation of 5 centimeters below and above the mean. So height of children is variating between 145 to 155 centimeters. Same is here, majority clustered at 60, but some going below and some going above. So here also variation you can see. So there is variation in both. Now in here I want to compare this variation. So many of the students, they simply say here measure of variation is standard deviation. This standard deviation is more in weight and so variation is more in weight. Now here this comparison is not correct. Why it is not correct? Because weight is measured in kgs. Height is measured in centimeter. So direct comparison is not possible. And that is why you cannot compare here standard deviation directly. So to overcome this situation, we have one more measure of dispersion which is known as coefficient of variation. For coefficient of variation, formula is standard deviation upon mean into 100. How to use this formula in this situation? So this comparison is wrong. You cannot do it like this. So let's calculate coefficient of variation for height. Now here standard deviation of height is 5 centimeters. Mean height is 150 centimeters. See, units are getting cancelled. So what final answer you will get is 3.3%. Similarly, coefficient of variation for weight. Standard deviation in weight, mean weight into 100. Again units are getting cancelled. Final answer is 10%. So now where variation is more, you can easily say it is more in weight. Now here this comparison is valid because here coefficient of variation is not having any unit and both are expressed in percentage. So to make this comparison possible, I have used concept of coefficient of variation. And so now if you read this question again, you will get your answer. So when you want to compare dispersion between two different variables measured on two different units, it is coefficient of variation which will make this comparison possible. And so measure of dispersion of choice here is coefficient of variation, which is option D. In next exam, they might ask you formula, they might ask you calculation for only one variable, or they might ask you comparison also. So that is about question number 4. Next MCQ, MCQ number 5. The systolic blood pressure was measured in a sample of population. The mean systolic blood pressure was found to be 125 millimeters of mercury with standard deviation of 10 millimeters of mercury. The 95% confidence interval would be options given 105 to 135, option B 115 to 135, option C 105 to 145 and option D 95 to 145. Now here question asked is about 95% confidence interval. From the idea of normal distribution, you know empirical rule of 68, 95, 99 which is applicable to normal distribution, which says mean plus minus 1 SD is equal to 68%, mean plus minus 2 SD is equal to 95% and mean plus minus 3 SD is equal to 99%. Now here they are asking 95% confidence interval. So formula used is mean plus minus 2 standard deviation. This can be used only for normal distribution, and in the question they have said systolic blood pressure, which is normally distributed data, and so I can use this formula. Since they are asking about 95% confidence interval formula, you can use this. Now in this they have given mean blood pressure as 125, standard deviation is given as 10, so just fill up the values and you will get your answer. So it is 105 to 145, that is option C. Now in this question, same variation, next year they may repeat same question, but instead of 95% they will ask 99%. What will be changed in the formula? Instead of 2 SD, you have to take 3 SD. If instead of both this, if they are asking 68% changes, you just have to take 1 SD. So this is how they can change the question for the next exam. Next MCQ. The systolic blood pressure was measured in a sample population. Mean systolic blood pressure was found to be 125 millimeters of mercury and standard deviation of 10 millimeters of mercury. The 95% patients will have their blood pressure above. Now this question is different from the previous question. In previous question, they have asked 95% confidence interval. So though question is resembling, the question which they have asked here is different from previous. So you know normal distribution, you know this line in the center represents mean. If this is minus 2 SD, if this is plus 2 SD, then you all know between these two 95% observations will lie, and that is known as 95% confidence interval, which we have already calculated as mean given 125, standard deviation was 10, so 2 times is 145 here, 2 times less, that is 105 here. This calculation already depicted in the previous question, but here in question number 6, they are not asking 95% confidence interval, but they are asking 95% of the patients will have their blood pressure above. Now when this is 95%, this becomes 2.5 and 2.5, let's make it 100%. But now here they want 95% above the limit, and so I have to change this diagram as, since I want 95% above this line, see how I am doing it. So if it is 90% in between these two lines, 5% will be here and 5% will be here. Again, if it is a symmetrical distribution. Now what they are asking you, how many will lie here, that is 90% plus 5% this also, let's make it 5% above the cutoff level. So they are asking you what this cutoff level will be. So now this gives you concept of 90% confidence interval. So when we say 95% confidence interval, you have used multiplier as 2, that is plus or minus 2 SD. But when you reduce it to 90% confidence interval, this multiplier is 1.64. And so formula used here to get this 90% confidence interval will be mean plus minus 1.64 times SD. Now you can provide me the data. Mean given here is 125 plus minus 1.64. SD is given here as 10. So that's make it 125.16.4. Now I don't want exact calculation because this rounding off they have already done in their options. So this will give you 141, sorry. It's 141 here. And this will become 100 and, so just count this, 126 minus 16, that will make it 109. So now here my 90% confidence interval is 109 to 141. Above 141 you have another 5%. So 90% is here and this makes it 95%. So how many, what will be this cutoff above which 95% of people will lie? It's 109. Not there in the option. So nearby option is 110. So I hope you have reached to the answer. So your answer is option B, that is 110. So please understand difference between the question. Whether they are asking 95% confidence interval, that is question number 5, or they are asking 95% population, they will lie above what level. So this understanding you have to build up to answer such questions. In relation to this, I'll give you this concept which will help you to solve future questions also. So after solving MCQ number 5 and 6, you must have understood the confusion which usually students get, and that is why they find these questions difficult. And that is why understanding normal distribution curve and its characteristic in detail, particularly 68%, 95% and 99% rule which is applicable to normal distribution. Some clarification related to that. As I said, when it is 68% confidence interval you want, your multiplying factor is plus or minus 1 SD. 95% confidence interval, when you want, your multiplying factor is 1.96, but as I said, for MCQs we don't need this exact number, so we will round it off to 2. When you want 99% confidence interval, multiplying factor is 2.58, but we don't need such rounding off, so we don't need it is correct exactly, and that is why we round it off to 3. So this 68, 95, 99 everybody remembers, but now in recent exam they have started asking even 90% confidence interval. So in addition to all this, also remember 90% confidence interval multiplying factor is 1.64 and 98% confidence interval multiplying factor is 2.33. So this is additional thing for the entrance exam. In third year, you remember 68, 95, 99, that was sufficient. Rounding off to 1 SD, 2 SD and 3 SD was sufficient. But now in some of the national level exams, they have started asking questions about this also. And so I'll say that question number 6 was about 90% confidence interval, and so I have used formula mean plus minus 1.64 into standard deviation. Next question.